These are a basic set of RGB lights that I found at my dollar store. Can these $5 lights beat the $140 Aputure? Can these be the Aputure killers? Let's find out. Oh, hey, I got a really quick one for you guys. But first, check out my shelf. Doesn't this look so cool? Check out my moon up here. So awesome. A lot more is gonna go on that bookshelf in the future, so be sure to keep an eye on it. And let me know if you know where this is from, my favorite TV show. Just a little bit of a hint for you guys. And with that, let's just jump straight into it. As I said before, lighting is really crucial to get right. As I talked about in my camera tutorial, you can have a really good camera set up, but if your lighting is terrible, then your shot's not gonna look that good. Now, recently, I've been getting into product photography. And product photography is a great way to practice composition, as well as to be a little bit more creative with just the average things you have around your home. Side note, if you already don't follow my Instagram, you should definitely go follow it at IceCap Productions, because that's where I'm gonna be posting all these bangers you're about to see, as well as it's the best place to be to see all the updates on my YouTube channel. Now, as a young photographer, one of the hardest things for me to do is to find something worthy of taking a picture of. There's a ton of things in life that you can take a picture of, but none of them really seem to be interesting enough or worthy enough to have the camera pointed at them and then going through the whole process of editing the photos. And that is a skill that you have to learn. Take the mundane and make it interesting. But I was over the moon when my friend brought me something from Japan. Check this out. These are custom chopsticks with my name on it in both English and Japanese. Now, looking at these have kind of a cyberpunk sort of feel to them, and that's the feel I wanted in the photo. I wanted to make it look like these chopsticks had never left cyberpunk Japan, what I assume all Japan kind of looks like, because I've never actually been there, but I would love to go on. Now, for these shots, I took on my trusty GH5 with my newer lights. I also used a TV as a background to give me that really nice cyberpunk feel. I knew that the two lights that I had, my newer bi-colored lights, wouldn't really do the trick. They'd be able to light the subject, but they wouldn't be able to sell it for the colors that's known for cyberpunk. And that means I'm gonna have to go RGB. If you've seen any RGB lights out there used by your favorite content creators, then it's probably the Aputure Mini. It is a small, practical RGB light that can be used to light up your set in the background. It can be used to add in a bit of hair light or even a full fill light. I've even seen people use them as full key lights. They're a very strong light and they have great and excellent color rendering. The app that comes with it is also really good and allows you to sync up multiple Aputure Minis, which means that you can have greater control over multiple ones in the set. It is really a fantastic light. The only problem is it comes with an Aputure price tag. And at $140 Canadian, there is no way I'm gonna be able to afford that type of light, especially when I just want to take a picture of some chopsticks. But I found a really cool thing as I was going around my local dollar store. If you're interested in them, they're the Tech1 RGB lights. They're $5, and I thought, why not give them a try? What's the worst that can happen? So basically, these are just an RGB panel. It comes with a stand so that you can hold it in either a vertical or horizontal position. It comes with a USB power outlet, and it's hardwired in there. So if something happens to this, goodbye light. But I feel like for $5, it doesn't matter that much. It also comes with a remote, and the remote has multiple settings. It has a few party modes like flashes and fades and everything. And to be honest, it's completely useless to me because all I'm interested is getting a picture with the lights. So all I used was the still color mode. But the remote does allow you to have different colors and different shade options. So if you wanted a darker shade blue or darker shade red, the remote does offer that. One caveat is sometimes the colors aren't really that great, and so it is a little difficult to see the difference between the darker and the brighter purples or the darker and the brighter reds, and so on and so on. Some colors it shows up really well, some colors not so much. But it's cool that it does give you the option for it. As soon as I opened it up, I was pleasantly surprised at the diffusion of this light. This is a $5 light, and yet this diffusion looks really good. In fact, when you turn it on, you can't see any of the individual LEDs in this, which is huge. Usually for a cheap light like this, you expect them to cheap out on that aspect, but they did a really good job in this diffusion. Another thing I was surprised about was that this light doesn't emit any noise. Usually with cheap dollar store lights, you get kind of a really loud ringing that comes out of the light every time it's turned on. Actually, let me just show you what I mean. This is another dollar store light that I had just kicking around, and I was actually gonna use it on the bookshelf until, well, it does this. I mean, this is completely annoying. These lights suck. But this light doesn't have any beeping associated with it. Now the Tech ones aren't perfect. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but it's just cheap plastic. This thing can easily fall apart, and it is not something I want to bring on a professional set or bring on the road for any case because it's gonna break. That being said, it's $5, so I mean, like if it does break, just go to the local dollar store and get another one. But it's not a very sturdy construction, unlike the Aputure, which has a solid metal construction and can practically be run over by a tank and still live. Now, these don't come with an app, unlike Aputure, so you really can't turn on and off multiple lights and changing color of multiple lights with one touch of the button. Actually, it kind of does. I suspect that all the remotes work off the same frequencies, which means that if you accidentally point this remote at both lights or in the general area of where both lights are, they actually both turn on and off. They also both turn to the same color. And it was kind of a nuisance because I wanted both lights to be a little different, but it was kind of a plus. If you want both lights to be the same color, you only need one remote, which is kind of nice. So in theory, you shouldn't be able to control both lights with one remote, but I found that it is possible. But again, probably more of a happy accident. So are these the Aputure killer? And honestly, maybe to some people they can be. If you're just learning to take photos, and if you're using smaller subjects, this is an excellent light. And if you don't already own an Aputure MC, well then this could be an excellent alternative for you to get your feet wet in colors and learning how to use them to benefit your photos and photography. But I don't see the guys that already have an Aputure MC getting rid of them anytime soon for this cheap light. It doesn't really do so well on larger subjects, as well as the colors on this aren't fantastic. So if even the daylight color is very blue and is not very natural looking, so you're definitely not going to be able to use this as the key light. I think this light is actually really, really good for product photography, which is where I think this light really does shine. So may not be the Aputure killer for everybody, but especially for product photographers that want to try RGB lights and don't have a lot of money, this I think is an excellent choice. But let me know what you guys think. Have you ever used cheap dollar store lights like this? And if you have, what's your experience? Did you want to upgrade to an Aputure MC? Did they work for you at all? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out my lighting tutorial. If you're interested in lighting your shots to look just like Hollywood to get the most out of any camera, you're definitely going to want to check that out because it's going to show you how to properly light your subjects. Until next time. Like, I feel like $5 is nothing, so I almost want to say that you should just get it no matter what, but you know. Almost done. Look at that. That was perfect.